Hey, it's Nick Capozzi. Welcome to Razzball Radio on the Fantasy Sports Network and, of course, on Cablevision, channel 147, right next to NBA TV. That's where I like to be. It's Monday, so I'm joined by Gray Albright, the fantasy master Lothario, blah, 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 blah. And on today's show, I'm taking Gray to task. Boom. There you go. You, sir, are being taken. Hope you're ready. How are you today, Gray?
Good. How you doing, Nick?
Man, I am fantastic. How was your week off with the All-Star break, brother?
It was pretty good. I caught up on my haircuts.
I can tell.
I went tanning. I did other metrosexual manscaping type things, and I'm ready to go. Feeling pretty.
Well, you look pretty, brother, and we're glad to have you back. We missed you. We had some great fill-ins last week, of course, but always happy to have Gray here during baseball season. Of course, Gray's still going to do Monday and Wednesday for us, even when we hit the tour. Now, Gray, just so you know, what's going to happen, of course, we leave for the Razzball 32 Drafts, 32 Days, 32 Cities Tour. Kicks off August the 4th in Seattle. And what the plan is that we are going to, of course, still do the show. It's going to be football heavy, but we're going to go out of our way to make sure we get some baseball content. Worst case, what we'll do is we'll get some baseball podcasts out while we're on the tour because, of course, we will have the equipment. Guru will be with us. So we're going to make sure that we absolutely cover some baseball. So we don't want you seam heads to worry that we're going to go all football all the time. Great. Let's get talking about some fantasy baseball, starting with the near no-no yesterday for Audrey Sammer Despang. Say that 3 times fast. Of course,
Audrey Sammer Despang. I didn't even say it once fast.
Yeah.
I said it once wrong slow.
Now, here's the thing. Because you talked about him, of course, in the Rundown column, which happens every day at razzball.com, where you want to get your fantasy baseball info. Where are his strikeouts? He only has 17 in 34 Major League innings this year. But in the minors, he did have, he had 29 Ks in 23 minor league innings. Did he leave his strikeouts in El Paso? Kind of sounds like a Tribe Called Quest song.
I believe that is a Nancy Sinatra song, isn't it? I think, or maybe it's Johnny Cash. I'm not sure. I think what's going on with Otis, I like to call him Otis Spunkemeyer because I can't really say his name.
We need a cookie sponsor on the show, by the way, Otis.
Otis Mir Despane. I am not even close, I don't think.
No, you're not.
He's a junk ball pitcher. So in the minors, people are a lot more prone to striking out on slow junk, like the slow curve and other bizarre pitches that he seems to throw. So because he's not overpowering people in the majors, I think that's where the Ks went. I think he's probably never going to find the Ks that he had in the minors. I think it was more of an anomaly in the minors with all the Ks. The good thing is he is a junk ball pitcher, which usually, for instance, El Duque, he's in the similar mold.
Yep.
And he was the kind of guy who wouldn't necessarily strike out a ton, but he would also keep the Yankees or the White Sox later on in the ball game. So I like Despane definitely at home. I think he's probably going to run into some tougher matchups at some point on the road, but I think he's a decent guy to pick up in most leagues.
Okay, would you rather have him or would you rather have Jacob deGrom? Interesting about Mr. deGrom, in the last month, he's got a 1.65 ERA, 1.16 whip, and 38 strikeouts in 32 and 2/3. This guy is 34% owned. You want to grab him. Which of the two would you rather have, Gray?
I would go with deGrom if I had to choose only one, but they're more or less they're kind of similar in that they're more or less streamers in most shallower mixed leagues that you're gonna want to look for good matchups. deGrom had a couple good matchups with the Braves and the Marlins, which has elevated his K rate. He's not right now. I think he's almost a 9 a 9K rate. He's not really that good.
Wait a
He's
minute. You're telling me that the Upton brothers in Atlanta strike out?
yeah, and BJ Upton through the maniacal genius of Freddie Gonzalez, BJ's the leadoff hitter, so he gets an extra strikeout a game, which is always nice for your offense.
Especially if
Uh,
you're in point leagues.
yeah, it's a definite bonus there. Probably the worst BJ any man could find. So Degrom he's definitely in the long term he's definitely better than Despain. I would say Degrom, Despain, everything fell on the plane. It's just like I think there's a rhyme. Uh-oh, I feel a freestyle coming on.
No, no, no freestyling. All right, by the way, if you want to come out and meet this goofball right here, Gray Albright, of course, he doesn't really tweet. And apparently, yeah, we can't see that whole shirt. He will be at the San Diego Tour Stop on the tour. That is August the 7th at 7 p.m. We are at Players Sports Bar in San Diego, the San Diego location. So if you want to come out, I'll tell you what right now, email me, nick@razzball.com. If you're in the San Diego area, I'll put you on the guest list, and you can come and hang out with the Fantasy Master Lothario. Real quick, did you want to say something?
I said don't abbreviate it. Fantasy Master Lothario, don't abbreviate it.
All right, real quick. We got about a minute here. You said it again in today's rundown column. You take a flyer on Danny Salazar, but other than his last 4 starts in the minors, he hasn't been very good. ERA over 4 in the minors. Wouldn't you rather have Wade Miley, who, other than having a goofy Billy Ray Cyrus haircut, has been lights out in July with 29 strikeouts, 1.88 ERA, and a 0.87 WHIP? Because he's owned in less leagues.
Yeah, I would agree with you. You're not going to get an argument from me. I think Wade Miley is definitely underrated right now because of an elevated ERA. He is probably around a 3.5 solid K guy as of right now. If it was for neutral luck.
All right. Hey, I like neutral luck. I'll take any kind of luck I can get. He's Gray Albright. I'm Nick Capozzi. We'll be back right after this here, Razzball Radio on the Fantasy Sports Network. Hey, it's Nick Capozzi. We're back on Razzball Radio here on the Fantasy Sports Network and, of course, Cablevision, joined right now by the head honcho over at Razzball.com, Mr. Gray Albright. It's Monday. What a better way to start your week than, a little side of Gray Albright. Gray, Bryce Harper is ruining a lot of fantasy teams this season. In 133 at-bats, taking the injury out of it, he has 3 homers and 1 steal, 263 average. What's the story with Bryce?
Well, you can't. I mean, the injuries did play a big role in why his numbers are hideous. He obviously hasn't been doing that great even when he's been healthy, but maybe he's not completely healthy. I'm not sure. His numbers look bad. Hopefully, he's not, going the route of total bust.
He can't be a bust. He's too talented. I mean, he's the most skilled player to come into baseball since Justin Upton. No, I'm kidding. No, Bryce Harper he's so talented. He can't be a bust. You don't mean that, do you?
I don't. I don't mean it. I'm not saying he's a bust, but I mean, another year of this, and you're gonna have to, and the whispers will start. Like you're in one of the bad seasons of Lost. I think that was season 4. I think Bryce Harper is probably worth buying low right now, just for the chance that if he has any upside for the rest of the season. I mean, he has the talent, like you said. I mean, and Nick's saying it. You know it's true. That's what happens there, folks. Nick's never lied in his life.
Ever.
No, sir, ever.
So he probably is a really good buy low target just because people are going to be so upset, distraught, frustrated with him. So you can go get him. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I would say you could buy him pretty low. I think you'd probably get him for, maybe a top 75-ish guy, whereas Bryce Harper, I mean, as the preseason rankings tell you, he's worth 15 a top 15 pick if he were to actually be healthy and playing up to his ability. So maybe a good closer like a Kimbrel. I don't know. I always like trading closers away. I have no problem trading any closer. I wouldn't actually own Kimbrel because of Sagnoff, but
Right.
if I did,
Saves
I
ain't got
would.
no face.
Yeah, Sagnoff saves ain't got no face, or steals ain't got no face.
By the way, if you're
Thanks.
ever lost on our glossary, just go to razzball.com. Under the tools tab, there is the glossary there, and there's all our lingo, which we often refer to. So, courtesy, of course, of Mr. Gray Albright. All right, let me throw some names at you, Gray.
You see that?
I can't. I can't. Probably because your fingers were in front of it. Let me throw
No,
some names at you here, Gray, and you just tell me which guy you would rather have. Bryce Harper, you don't have to go into it, but just which guys would you rather have, Bryce Harper or Adrian Beltre rest of the season?
uh, I'd go Beltran.
Cano or Harper?
You know,
All right, here I'll throw you a curveball. Nelson Cruz or Bryce Harper?
mm, I'd probably go. I'd give a shot on Harper there.
Okay, good stuff. Okay, let's keep talking fantasy baseball. So, should you drop Mookie Betts now that Victorino, the Flying Hawaiian, is back? He only hit 235 in, it was small sample size, 34 at bats with one steal and one homer. Any reason you should keep him on your roster or just cut him loose?
All bets are off because it's
You know, if you're having your coffee in the morning and you want to go through, you want to have a little bit of a giggle while you're setting your lineups for the day, read the rundown every single day at razzball.com. It is really funny stuff. It is great. It's what you write. You write that and you write the buy sell column, which is on Fridays, correct?
that Nick. You've never lied, so it has to be right. Everything you say is true.
I got some swampland in Florida for you, brother. Okay, speaking of everything I say is true, you've been stumping a lot for Yan Gomes, of course, the Cleveland catcher this year. If you look at his stats on the player rater, he is the fifth overall catcher, 273 average, 13 homers, 37 RBIs. I know that you drop catchers like crazy. However, where would you rank Yan Gomes for next season as a catcher? Is he a top 5 catcher, top 8 catcher?
Well, if he's top five, I'm probably not going to have him because I don't believe in drafting a top five catcher.
I was just asking for the rank.
Oh, you just want to rank?
Yeah, where would you rank him?
I can't expand. Let's say 7.
Okay, expand. I apologize.
Well, Yan Gomes, you have he's got the advantage of playing so much that he is accumulating, and he's hitting in a decent spot in the lineup, so he's accumulating a lot of counting stats. So even if his power and average don't appear like he's doing that well, he's getting a lot of runs and RBIs for a catcher. So he's in the last 30 days, I believe he was the second best catcher in the majors for fantasy, and he's been, like you said, 7th overall for the season. So
Fifth,
he's
actually.
been,
I never lie.
oh yeah, never
All
lie.
right. If you are looking for some catching help, a couple other guys that you could consider: Stephen Vaught of the A's, who's actually an outfielder. He's done really well the last 30 days, widely available, and of course gets playing time in the outfield on a daily basis. As well, Travis d'Arnaud, who is any minute away from breaking down, but he's actually been playing really well, quietly under the radar. So a couple guys you could go and get. Any other catchers, if you're really looking to switch it up, that you might consider right now? Maybe Alex Villa.
Yeah, if you're in AL only league or two catcher mixed league.
All right.
Yeah, it's a struggle. It's a struggle for me to get excited about him.
I know. It's a struggle for you to get excited about catchers, period. Okay, after the break, we're going to talk some more good stuff, including Jordana Ventura, Brandon Belt, and Alex Wood. This is Razzball Radio on the Fantasy Sports Network. Welcome back to Razzball Radio here on the Fantasy Sports Network. We are talking with Gray Albright, the main guru over at Razzball.com. I shouldn't actually ever refer to you as a guru because I wouldn't want people to mistake you for the guru.
I can put on my sunglasses.
Put on your sunglasses and your headscarf. Whoa. Those are great. You should have pulled those out earlier.
Yeah, these are my blue blockers.
All right, I want to talk to you about Brandon Belt. He's heading to the DL with a concussion, so obviously that's, terrible for him and it's disappointing. But people consider him a disappointment. No, it is terrible for the guy. You don't want to get dinged on your dome.
No, I know. It's just funny the way you said that for some reason. Like, it's terrible for him.
Do I make you laugh? Am I a clown?
Like, not like a close relative, but like a cousin. Like, yeah, it's terrible for him. It's okay, Nick. Don't worry. I know you can't ever lie. It is terrible for Brandon Bell. I'm sure he'll be fine now. Don't worry. Don't stay up at night.
Okay, so he is headed to the DL, and he's often viewed as a disappointment. However, if you look at his 165 at-bats this year, he does have 10 homers. It's a small sample size, but if you prorate that to a full season, we're talking mid-30s now. Is that where Brandon Belt is as a hitter? No.
No. He's like a slightly skinnier Billy Butler, less movie Billy Butler, I would say.
He's maybe more the strung out West Coast version.
Yeah,
like he should have a skateboard and a lot of white boy tribal tattoos.
Yeah, and tofu. He's a tofu Billy Butler.
All right. I
think Brandon Belt is probably a 22 homer guy with decentish average. I wouldn't say he's ever going to be a 30 homer guy. I mean, you could say in a small sample size, because he can't stay healthy, that he would look like he was going to be a 30 homer guy. But he would have never gotten there anyway.
Okay. Alex Wood has moved back into the starting rotation. He was in the rotation, and again, of course, we talked about Freddie Gonzalez and his infinite wisdom earlier, got put back in the pen. Now he's back in the rotation. 3 of his last starts have been quality starts, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's your take on Alex Wood right now?
I like him. I think he is a solid 2 to 3 fantasy starter for 12-team mixed leagues. I would own Alex Wood everywhere. I was a little bit surprised to see in our RCL, our Razzball commentator league, he was owned in, I think, 88% maybe. So I think he should be at 100%. I would own Alex Wood anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. With that K rate, pitching in that division against those lineups, you should have Alex Wood in your starting rotation. It blows my mind sometimes when I see ownership rates. Like we talked about Danny Salazar earlier in the show. The guy's owned in like 30+% of leagues.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird because it's all over the map with ownership percentages. I think like Yahoo, Alex Wood could be at 60%, and ESPN he could be at 88%. I don't think there's any real rhyme or reason. I think there's something we don't know completely about why the ownership numbers are what they are. Whether that means there's one guy in his mom's basement who owns 12,000 teams, and he picked up Alex Wood in everyone, and then suddenly his ownership jumps in ESPN, and that guy doesn't play in Yahoo. Maybe we'll call him Mickey, for instance. We'll just say Mickey.
Mickey, the basement dweller.
Yeah. Mickey the Basement Dweller is in ESPN, and he owns Alex Wood in 12,000 leagues. That accounts for his ownership number. Maybe.
All right, got it.
I, unlike Nick, do occasionally lie.
All right, here's something that is not a lie. Yordano Ventura is technically a rookie. He only pitched 15+ innings last year. People forget that. This guy, he's petite. I think that's a nice way to put it. But this guy throws gas. I believe actually, and I might be wrong on this, I might be lying, but I do believe that he is actually throwing harder right now than any other pitcher in the majors. So what's the story with the 88 strikeouts in 107 innings?
Does it look like I'm going to play bridge? These are my Rabbi Shmoilowitz sunglasses. I say Rabbi Shmoilowitz sunglasses because that's who I stole them from. Um, I would say Ventura is. I try and keep a straight face at these segments. Ventura is he's a hard thrower and he's 4'11". So yeah, you were correct. He is petite. Him and Jose Altuve in a basketball game would be an amazing matchup.
The
I
only
think,
guys who could make Muggsy Bogues look tall.
yeah, exactly. Ventura, he's a hard thrower. He's kind of in the mold of a Pedro Martinez from with just his build and his slightness. He's Ventura, I think, is all joking aside. I think he's like 5'10", 5'11". So he's he is definitely small for the 97, 98 mile per hour fastball that he throws, but he should be fine. I think the worry more is the arm. Remember about 2 months ago
Yeah,
he had a
the
problem.
inflammation.
Yeah, right, exactly. So they said he could probably avoid surgery, but at any time that could be, that teams as well as many teams also do lie. So I mean, Ventura could be possibly nursing something. I don't know. I mean, he's still throwing fast, so it's hard to say where the K's are lacking. But at any point, he could roll through like a 5 game stretch with 12 Ks per game.
All right. He is Gray Albright. I am Nick Capozzi. This is Razzball Radio on the Fantasy Sports Network. We'll see Gray again on Wednesday. And on tomorrow's show, we actually got a couple really cool special guests lined up. Don't forget, if you want to come out and see Gray on the tour in San Diego, email me, nick@razzball.com. You know what I'll even do today? A couple cities, I have a huge venue. So if you want to come out to the Razzball tour, I will guest list you today if you email me, nick@razzball.com. I got a big spot in Houston, Pittsburgh, and, of course, Dukes, Murray Hill, in New York City. Gray, wake up. We're not talking any more football. We'll see you tomorrow.